Hey, peepsy doodles, how's everyone doing today? So, I was off today. I wanted to, daughters, not happy that it's bedtime. Hi Mystic, but I wanted to do a little witchy Q&A. It's not going to be super long, it's not going to be super, yeah, but I'm thinking, 10, 15 minutes. See if you guys had any questions or anything going on because I think that they're fun. Oh, Mystic, you won't be here Friday? Friday, guys. Friday is super awesome, fun time. Superstitions and folklore, witchy wisdom. I am beyond pumped. Beyond freaking pumped. Um, but anyway, so what do you guys got? Anything? Anything at all? Not saying that I'm like a super fancy uh, um, know-it-all, but I think witchy Q&As are kind of fun to get other people's perspectives on things. Um, yes, mystic, elementals. Girl, I got it down. Finally caught you live. Yay, Tina. My mint is starting to sprout. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Good. Do you have any tips for beginners, witches or pagans? Um, hmm. There is so much out there as far as tips for beginners. What I would say, I feel like for me personally, that I wish I would have realized is to not take everything you read as an absolute. You really need to take things that speak to you and utilize them and leave the things that don't. If you read through an entire, I don't know, Scott Cunningham book for whatever, and you take a lot of what he says and you really agree with it, but then there's certain things that just don't feel right to you. Don't integrate those things into your practice if they don't feel right for you. Um, Wicca, witchcraft, all of this type of goodness is a very personal, and honestly, it's a very solitary practice. Now, there are covens, but you also have to be, your practice is very personalized to you. So while there are books out there on millions and millions of different things, please understand that they are all used as reference. Okay, so don't take everything that you read as the one all be all. Not necessarily a witchy question, but what are your thoughts on twin flames? Um, so there's a lot of different, there's like twin flames and soulmates, and there's another one, and I don't really know the difference between the two. I do 100% believe in the thought that there are souls that are constantly intertwined with each other throughout the lifetimes. I do absolutely believe in that, and I also believe that when you meet your twin flame and when you are with your twin flame. And I also think that twin flame and soulmates are different things, and people can be with their soulmate and it's not necessarily their twin flame. But that is like a whole another subject. But I do I do believe in twin flames. Have any of your spells worked? They have. I've done a few. I'm not a huge person as far as spells. Like, I don't do a ton of them. It's just not a huge part of my practice. But in the past, when I did them, the few that I did had very surprising results. They worked. Some of them didn't work exactly like I thought I would, I thought they would. But that's kind of when I started to realize, oh, this is why I have to put boundaries on certain things when I do spells, because if you just put it out in the wind, then the universe can be like, well, okay, you want me to just do whatever I want to make this happen? Sure, not a problem. So, but they have. I just did a spell that I wrote down all my negative thoughts on a paper and then read them out loud and said, these are false, and went on to reread them, but make them positive, like I'm not good enough turned into I'm perfectly enough. Then I burned the paper. I like that a lot, Mystic. I like that a lot. That is a beautiful spell. How do you do a chakra cleansing on yourself? There are a ton of ways to cleanse your chakras. If you are any level of a Reiki practitioner, you can cleanse that way. You can actually cleanse your chakras by eating the color of foods that correspond with your chakras, like, grapes, blueberries, strawberries, la 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 la. One of the most common ways to cleanse your chakras is visualization, and there are a ton of guided meditations out there. But basically, the premise behind doing a visual chakra cleanse is that I normally start at the root and work my way up, and you visualize that particular chakra. So if you start at the root, you visualize its color, you visualize it open, and you visualize it moving in a clockwise motion. I know that this is clockwise to me, it's not clockwise to you, this is clockwise to you, whatever. But you visualize it in a clockwise motion, because that's the way that energy works, is in clockwise spirals. And if you sense any gunk, any like heavy hanging energy, that you visualize that breaking off and melding away, so that it's just a very bright colored sphere of whatever color your chakra is, and it's spinning in a clockwise motion, that it's not too open, it's not too closed. That you do that with each chakra. Hey, cut it out. Twin flames are when your soul first came to existence. The energy that you were created from splits into two beings, and you and that person have identical energy frequencies, which no other soul has. That's actually super interesting. I'll have to read more on that, honestly. Crap, how long have you been on? Only a couple minutes. Well, 8, but it's fine. I've been practicing ancient Latin spells, and they've been working amazingly. Any advice you would have for me to either be careful or watch out for? I don't know a ton about Latin spells. I guess the only thing that I would watch out for is to make sure that if you are doing spells that are actually in Latin, that you know exactly what they're saying, because the universe, love it, but it can be tricky, and it likes to use loopholes. And so if you're doing a spell for a particular thing, and the spell has it said in a certain way because it's in a different language, you just want to make sure that you have your barriers up, and that you didn't ask for something because the universe took it as something else. How do you find your color chakra? What do you mean? We all have the same chakras, and they all have the same color correspondences: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo. Some people see this as violet, some people see this as white. I see the crown as white. But yeah. As a health professional, do you have any suggestions helping someone to quit smoking cigarettes? Honestly, you mean for yourself or to help someone else? Because I've never smoked, and so I don't know how difficult it is to quit, to be honest. I've seen people struggle through quitting for a long time. It took my mom to literally go to the hospital and almost die from an asthma attack that was brought on by cigarettes, for her to quit cold turkey. So I'm not the person to ask. It may be something to, bring your spirituality into, and try to work some spells and bring your spirit team in and see if they can kind of help to guide you to a more healthy way of thinking, to at least drop the smoking down. I don't know. I don't know because I've never smoked. Um. Oh, what do the colors mean? The colors are just basically correspondence to. I think that it's more to help with visualizing than that's what the colors actually are in the body. Um, but it's just to help with visualization and to help with remembering what each of the chakras are meant for. What type of spells would you suggest for beginners? I don't know. I'm not going to suggest any spells because, just to like run around willy nilly and do spells, I don't particularly. Uh, when witches and pagan, like when you start as a beginner and you're really really excited, I know that people come into it for the spells. But me personally, which is why I don't do spells much anymore, is I have to have a need. And your spells are not going to work if you don't have an actual need for them. And so to do spells just to do them to see if they work, I don't particularly, I don't know. I can't suggest any to you because I don't know what your lifestyle is and what you have going on in your life. So you'll want to find spells that are working for you and what you have going on in your life currently. Any idea of getting rid of the awful smell of sage after it burns? Beth, actually, if you don't like the smell of sage, I have heard of people that have boiled sage, like on their stove, instead of burning it so it doesn't have that burnt after smell. Some people really like the smell of burnt sage. Some people hate it. Like I love the smell of sandalwood, but not sandalwood, Palo Santo. But as soon as I burn it, like that after smell makes me open up all the windows and because it smells like my house is burning down. It's god awful. So Palo Santo isn't as strong as sage. Really? See, I think Palo Santo is 100% strong, way stronger than sage. I could run around and sage my house all day long and have zero issues with it. And Palo Santo, at least the type that I have downstairs right now, that particular package smells like death when it's burnt. So. After practicing for about 18 years, I now really only do spells when I really feel a need. That's where I'm kind of going with it too. Is um, I just don't do much of them anymore. Totally have, but it smells like weed. Oh yes, sweetgrass. Actually, that's a good one, Joyce. Is to burn sweetgrass after you burn sage. What would suggest beginners? What would suggest beginners start off with not spells? I love the smell of sage, but my mother says it gives her migraines. It gives my dad headache too. I think weed smells wonderful. What are your thoughts on karma? Oh, karma. Karma, karma. The whole what you give out comes back 2 times 3. So, what I think about karma is I basically think that karma is another way of saying whatever you put out, the energy that you are putting out is the energy that you're going to draw in. Like that is how I view karma now. Back in the day, you're like, oh, you got to be careful of what you do because whatever you put out comes back 2 times 3 and follows you through lifetimes, and which, fine. But I personally think that the actual way that they're saying as far as karma is that when you are living on your day-to-day life, you're doing your spirituality, you're doing whatever, you're putting an energy out there. Whether you're a happy person, an angry person, a sad person, a depressed person, you're putting out an energetic vibe. And whatever you're putting out, the universe is going to reciprocate by giving you that same energy back, which is why the law of attraction works the way it does. And so that is how I view karma, is that what you're putting out is what the universe is reciprocating you with. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that it's karma that can follow you through lifetimes. They're like, oh, well, if you kill someone in this lifetime, you might be killed in another lifetime. I don't really necessarily know about all that, at least me personally. I think that in other lifetimes, when you're put back here lifetime after lifetime, you're put back here until you learn what you need to learn, and then you pass. You go back up, you kind of review what's going on, see what else you need to learn, and go back again. So I think that karma, people just try to simplify it, and they're like, oh, whatever you give out comes back 2 times 3. I don't know wherever the times 3 ever came from. But yeah, so that's what I think about karma. Is it's basically universal energy. It's universal energy interacting with your energy is what karma is. So you just kind of got to watch what kind of energy you're putting out there. If you're having a really fucking shitty week and you're putting out the anger vibes and you're just getting more and more and more pissed because of the shitty things that keep coming to you, the universe is going to keep giving you more shitty stuff because that's what you're putting out there. Last week, I had a great week. The whole thing was great, and I haven't had that in a long time. You know what I did? Every morning I got up, I was happy, genuinely, not just like putting on a front, like I was genuinely happy. I went to work, I was talking up my spirit guides and chit-chatting with my spirit team. I get to work, things just kept falling into place, and the more excited and positive and happy I was about things, the more that I got back. And that's what I think about that. What can I do to give a more accurate tarot reading? Honestly, tarot is all about practice. Practice, practice, practice. Get yourself in a good mindset. Get yourself in a comfortable setting. Practice with the cards. Spend time with the cards. Take each individual one. Look at it, read it, spend time with it, read the little booklet about it, but then really focus on what's in the card. There's some people that don't even look at the books. I kind of like to look at them when I first get them because I like to read the story that goes along with a lot of the tarot decks. But really, and another big thing about tarot is to trust your intuition. If you flip a card and you immediately get a gut feeling or you're immediately drawn to something little in that card, say it. Talk about it. Bring it up, because you'll be amazed how accurate you actually are when you trust your gut when you're doing readings, any kind of readings. Looks like a lot of people finally caught the live video. I'm super excited. My hubby is almost back with my La Senorita, my fajitas, and my salsa, and I'm real excited about it. I probably have time for like one more question if anybody had. These have been really good questions, you guys. Very thought-provoking. This has been a good one. This is a good one. Yeah. Anybody else have anything else? My aunt came home. Wait. My aunt came to my home for 3 months and gave me this book I read and studied them all, and she taught me a lot. About your tarot? Is that what you're talking about? I love what you're doing with your book. Oh, thank you! I always worry about missing the structure info behind tarot, probably why I usually go with Oracle. I went with Oracle for a really long time because of that, but once that's a big thing, is finding a tarot deck that resonates with you. So if you have a tarot deck that you don't really particularly care for, you're not going to get anything out of it. I'm going to tell you that right now. My Shadowscapes Tarot is like one of my pride and joys. I absolutely love it. And it has given me fantastic information and fantastic readings almost from the very beginning of using it because of the connection I had with my deck. So it's very important. I recommend the book Basic Witches if you need a confidence in witch stuff. I actually saw that book on Amazon recently. How do you contact your spirit guides? That one is a bit more in depth. There is a ton of information on that. There's a ton of like videos and guided meditations on YouTube. I love the guided meditations on it. I also recommend, other than finding a guided meditation that you like, starting to talk out loud. I can't recommend this to you guys enough. Talk out loud to your spirit team. Talk to them and see what kind of changes actually start happening in your life because you're starting. And as you start to make progress in talking with them and they realize that you're trying to get a hold of them, they will reciprocate and more things will start to happen. So I gotta get going, love muffins. Hubby's home with my food. I had a wonderful day. I did have a wonderful day, but I had a great time talking with you guys in a witchy Q&A. I'm gonna get going and go eat my food. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you Friday. Bye, lovies.